After I dropped out of high school, I couldn't stay with my mother. Things logistically weren't going to work out. She was going to be moving somewhere, and I couldn't go with her. So I ended up staying with my sister in her attic/loft. I was just playing on my little shitty laptop. 90 degrees in the summer, there's no air conditioning. My two options were join the Air Force or go to community college. At the time, it was a pretty desperate situation. But I knew the thing that I really had going for me was that I could play some League of Legends. I knew that was really the only viable option for me. Most people, when they watch LCS, they don't know about a pro player's beginnings, but almost all pro players have amateur roots or amateur beginnings. I went to this LAN in Montreal, and this was the first real competitive chance for me to prove myself in like the amateur scene. We got knocked out early and started crying out of frustration after I took off my headset. It was angry tears. I went back to my hotel room and I slept it off, and I slept a while. It was a bad reaction that I had initially, just to blame someone. I don't know what happened, but after I woke up, I had a really different mindset. I'm gonna become so good that I'll never let a loss like that happen again. The next LAN I played at was a LAN called Player One. That was my favorite team I'd ever played on. I really wanted to win just for them. I didn't want them to feel the way that I felt after Montreal. Dan Clerkey from the Maryville program reached out to me and said that I was accepted for the tryouts. In those Maryville tryouts, I pretty much stomped every top laner and hard carried all the games that I was in. I felt like I could just breathe easily because I knew exactly where my life would be leading, at least for the next year. We had a coach who, let me think of the right word. First semester was rough, but having all that brought us together as a team. You all are feeling the same emotions, right? Same anger, the same sadness. In the second semester, I felt like we bonded really well and started playing really well together. Going into the end of the collegiate season, the series versus Columbia College was sort of the peak of our redemption arc. It was a 50-minute Game 5 banger. We gave our mid laner a 5th pick on red side, and he picked his signature champion, Xerath, and he was an absolute smurf. I just remember after we won, I threw off my headset and I went over to my mid laner, Mike, and I said, Mike! And I kissed him on the cheek. And yeah, after the game, Mike was yelling, it's just so easy. It's just so easy. And then after that, that's when we started just destroying everyone. Nationals was in LA at the studios. We only dropped one game in all of our series, and we took the 2019 National Championship. That allowed us to qualify for basically what's like Collegiate Worlds. The crowd was actually nuts. There were hundreds of people, like hundreds and hundreds of people. I went from a year ago not having a plan, not having a direction in my life, to really making a name for myself. Whenever I was talking to teams, I would always get so close to being on their team, but I would never put my name on the dotted line. I was told that I didn't have the experience that they had or the different veteran qualities that they wanted in a player, so they weren't going to sign me, and they would choose the player that they deliberately said I was better than over me. If they have more experience than I do and I have no experience, how am I ever supposed to get experience if I'm better than them? That's when I sort of started getting really frustrated with how everything was going, and I felt like it might not ever happen. You know, I might not ever get my chance. I went into these Golden Guardians tryouts, and I really wanted to make sure that there was no doubt in anyone's mind that I had everything to justify my spot. When I first learned that I was on LCS, just a feeling of joy. I feel like I was never really excited before in my league career. I was usually relieved, but this is the first time I felt really, really excited to be on a new team and compete with them. I really, really like the way that Golden Guardians was running everything. It seems like they really care about players doing well and also making sure that every player gets their fair shake. The gap between an amateur player and an LCS player isn't as big as people might expect it to be. And so the biggest thing that I'm hoping to show in my first split in LCS is that there are people in the scene in North America that you don't know about, but they deserve to prove just how good they are.